I am Reverend Montclair, and this is Monday Church with Reverend Montclair. Today is November 11th, and it is a day when these words came to my mind, and it is keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Those are the words of a Chinese general from the 5th century BC. His name is Sun Tzu, and he wrote a book on the art of war. So that's what it feels like. It feels like we've been at war with ourselves. And I don't just mean our own individual selves, but our own citizens, citizens against citizens, as the election came to pass. So half of the electorate approximately are happy, I suppose, of whom they chose, and the other almost half are not. And still, the rest of the ballots continue to be counted. But the message is clear that we have a large population of very unhealed people that really need to be recognized for their wounds, because the person who was elected is apparently and obviously to me a deeply wounded human being. So there is still, as I spoke of before, the resonance there with the ones that also have these deep wounds that they perhaps deny and need healing. And there is our culture. We have a runaway train with our government and with our electoral process. A lot of doubt has been cast on the validity of the voting process, and a lot of lies have been spun around the whole electoral process, even by the one who was recently elected. That those assertions that our electoral process doesn't work is broken, and it does not accurately represent the American people, and that may be true, but there it is. He's in office. It's like we need to decide with this runaway train. Are we going to jump off and just save ourselves, like some will, and many contemplate about leaving the country? Are we going to stay on, hold on for dear life, and try to reach for the emergency brake? Certainly, this is a moment in American history where we are at a crossroads. And the crossroads is where the trickster lives. And again, I reference the the elected president to be as a trickster. So here we are. We get to learn, we get to suffer, we get to evolve. When life becomes really hard and really impossible, it's as if the world is asking us to go deeper within ourselves and evolve, morph into our best selves, the ones that we may not have thought we were capable of transforming into. We may have received inside our psyche an idea about what kind of a cap we had on our life and our life experience, that maybe we were going to just stay a certain way or at a certain level in society, or a certain lack of growing anymore, that maybe we had already attained our best. But I tell you, as you live, as you continue to live, you must continue to grow and best your best. Continue to evolve. Allow yourself to outgrow yourself. sometimes to outgrow your beliefs about yourself, about others, about the world, and to move freely into that new self and leaving the old self behind. And sometimes that means leaving people that we've cared about behind. And sometimes that means people won't like the new us and they don't like the change that we're going through. And this change is nothing but natural growth. And natural growth must not be thwarted or kept down, because that's where disease happens. When we refuse to grow, when we refuse to live into our best selves, we're somehow squelching our energy and our enthusiasm for life. Like we're living a half life if we're not reaching to be our best. And I don't mean that we have to be focused and entirely on achieving, but I do mean we have to be focused on our authenticity, on being who we really are and shedding that whom we are not. And so much of our society demands that we be someone who we are not, because it needs us to be a certain way. It needs people to fulfill certain roles. It needs to prey on people to have a certain level of others in our society to maintain their absurdly rich, pampered lifestyle. So here we are. We have a large populace of people that are tired of the ultra wealthy preying on those that are not. But unfortunately, that wound also makes them easy to manipulate, to promise change in that way, but not actually deliver, which is what I witnessed when this last president-elect was in office. We have a very difficult, kind of unmanageable society. It's large. It's really large. We're a big country. And we have a lot of ideas and ideals that we put out in the world, but we don't live up to at home. One thing is we don't even see each other as countrymen, countrywomen, as citizens of the same country. It's like we all have an idea of a country in our head, and that's where we live instead of actually in the real world. There are wonderful neighborhoods where people of all different backgrounds do live in harmony together. But there are also neighborhoods that are segregated, and sometimes by landscape or by inheritance, where people don't move freely through society and get to know that people of different colors, of different races, of different ethnic backgrounds, of different religions are just people too. Indeed, we have this problem also in America that many men don't think that women are just people too. So we've got a lot coming to the fore, and I still maintain that although it may look like things are getting worse, what I believe is that all of the similar and same kinds of problems have always been there, but they needed to be seen, to be witnessed, to be brought to the surface so that they can be healed. So where we start is not out there. Where we start is in here. In here where we have buried experiences, wounds, beliefs that we didn't decide on from experience, but from someone else instilling them in us. We have a lot of trash to take out. We have a lot of feelings to unwind from untruths that are in our own selves. We have work to do. Because when our external society turns to chaos and people are not trusting each other and they're not trusting themselves, we have work to do. And there's a lot of reasons for that in our culture, where one of the main preoccupations is to watch television or movies, all of which is fake, is manufactured reality. And we spend less time focused on and interacting with real reality, real people with real emotions. It's a problem. We do need to reduce screen time. We do need to put the phones down and actually talk to people. But here we are. So I encourage you to be brave, to be fully who you are. And that is not who you are when you're triggered. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say fully who you are, I mean before the limits were placed on your spirit. I mean uncovering that innocence, not just the anger that came after the innocence was betrayed, but that innocence and that vision for some kind of beautiful future for yourself. And that does not include you getting to control the world. It means the individual, small, intimate relationships that you have with those around you, your immediate circle. Open yourself to being real in that circle. And if they're not the kind of people you can be real with, then you need to change your people. And you may need to change how you see yourself, because why wouldn't you be real? And what's keeping you from being real? What kind of courage do you need? That's it for today.